Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a story that is no longer about predictions, possibilities, or distant future warfare. It is happening now. The contest between Russia's Su-57 and Israel's F-351 Adir has entered a new phase, and the race for air dominance has officially begun. Both nations are pushing their limits, testing cutting-edge technology, and shaping the future of air combat with machines that represent two very different philosophies of war. As we break down this showdown, we're about to explore stealth, sensors, artificial intelligence, combat data, long-range weapons, and the strategies both sides believe will define the next generation of air power. The conflict between these two aircraft isn't happening in large-scale battles, but in silent scans, electronic duels, intelligence gathering, and real-time simulations where both sides prepare for a confrontation they hope never becomes real. The F-351 Adir represents Israel's attempt to go beyond traditional stealth, using sensor fusion and AI-driven systems to dominate information. The Su-57 represents Russia's attempt to create a powerful, high-agility fighter capable of surviving intense electronic warfare while still maintaining significant stealth of its own. What makes this matchup even more intense is that both jets were designed with each other in mind, shaping their strengths and weaknesses in ways that are becoming clearer every year. The F-351 Adir isn't simply an upgraded F-35. It carries a level of autonomy, network intelligence, and electronic warfare capability that Israel has spent years refining. Israel wanted a jet that doesn't just hide from radar, but one that manipulates the entire electromagnetic environment. It uses real-time signal analysis to hijack, scramble, mimic, or mask its presence in ways that make detection almost meaningless. Instead of thinking about stealth as invisibility, the F-351 uses stealth as a foundation for dominance, confusing enemy sensors, feeding false data, and overwhelming systems before the enemy even knows the Adir is there. The Su-57, in contrast, is built for brute force agility. Russia prioritized supermaneuverability, long-range missiles, infrared detection, and powerful radar arrays designed to catch stealth aircraft in the gaps of their invisibility. The Su-57's L-band radar mounted in its wings is one of these tools. Although it cannot provide targeting accuracy for missiles, it can alert the aircraft to the presence of stealth opponents. That gives Russian pilots a chance to maneuver into positions where long-range sensors or infrared tracking can take over. The Su-57 was built with the idea that stealth can be countered by layered detection and brute combat performance. The real challenge begins when these philosophies clash. The F-351 relies on first look, first shot, first kill. The Su-57 relies on outlasting stealth and dominating the fight once it gets close. Both aircraft are designed to fight in electronic chaos, but the way they generate and survive that chaos is completely different. Israel believes in information superiority. Russia believes in performance superiority. In a modern battlefield, both types of superiority can determine life or death. One of the biggest advantages of the F-351 Adir is its ability to connect to multiple platforms at once. It can link to satellites, drones, ground units, naval assets, and even older jets. This creates a web of information around the battlefield. Even if the F-351 never turns on its radar, it can still gather everything it needs from its network. The Su-57, although network-capable, still relies heavily on its own sensors. That makes it more independent, but also more isolated in complex combat zones. As tensions rise globally, both Russia and Israel are testing these jets in real conditions. Russia has deployed the Su-57 in limited operations, gathering data on how it performs in contested airspace. Israel has tested the F-351 in multiple real missions, refining electronic warfare capabilities and improving its sensor algorithms through thousands of hours of combat experience. The experience gap between these two jets is enormous. The Adir has already seen battle, like environments, The Su-57 is still developing. The war for air dominance begins long before missiles fly. It starts when sensors activate, radars sweep, and electronic signatures shift across the sky. The F-351 tries to become one with the environment, blending into electromagnetic noise. The Su-57 tries to cut through the noise with wide spectrum detection. This is a duel of invisible weapons, silent attacks, and split-second information dominance. If the confrontation ever becomes real, the opening moments will determine everything. Israel's F-351 would attempt to jam the Su-57 sensors before the Russian pilot even knows he is being targeted. The Adir's EW suite can send out deceptive signals, making the Su-57 think targets are in places where nothing exists. At the same time, the Adir can identify weak points in the Russian aircraft's radar and exploit them. The Su-57, however, can respond with high maneuver missile dodging, thrust, vector control, and long-range R-77M missiles fired from significant distance. This fight would be decided by which jet detects the other first. Even if the Su-57 detects the Adir, it must still lock onto it, track it, and get close enough for a missile to have a real probability of kill. That is extremely difficult against a stealth aircraft using advanced jamming and decoy signals. However, if the Su-57 manages to close the distance, its agility could give it a chance to engage in a close-range dogfight where stealth matters less and maneuverability matters more. But the F-351 is not a pure dogfighter. It relies on avoiding such situations entirely. The race between these jets is also a race of development. Russia continues upgrading the Su-57 with better engines, improved sensors, and new weapons like the R-74M2 and hypersonic missiles. Israel continues enhancing the F-351 with more autonomous decision, making stronger electronic warfare tools and tighter network integration. Both jets are evolving rapidly. Every update shifts the balance slightly but decisively. This rivalry is shaping military strategy across the world. Nations are watching to see how stealth versus supermaneuverability will define the next generation of fighters. Will information superiority replace dogfighting forever? Or will high-maneuver jets still dominate at close range? The Su-57 and F-351 are the test subjects for these questions, and their performance will determine how future jets are designed. Israel's F-351 is already being adapted for drone control. It can command wingman drones, send targeting data, and coordinate attacks without exposing itself. Russia is working on similar systems with the Okhotnik B stealth drone. One day, the Su-57 might fight alongside unmanned wingmen as well. This adds another layer to the conflict. Whoever perfects man-machine teaming first will hold a major advantage in future air battles. Technology alone doesn't determine victory. Training, strategy, and real-world experience matter just as much. Israeli pilots train extensively for complex electronic warfare environments. Russian pilots train for high-performance maneuver combat. Both have strengths, both have vulnerabilities. The actual outcome of any confrontation would depend heavily on where, when, and under what conditions the fight takes place. In open skies with long detection ranges, the F-351 has the advantage. In closer engagements or mountainous regions where stealth is harder to maintain, the Su-57 gains an edge. In heavy electronic warfare zones, the Adir dominates. In environments where agility and raw speed matter, the Su-57 holds its ground. The air dominance war has begun not because missiles are flying, but because both jets are preparing for the moment when they might. Simulations are running, upgrades are being made, pilots are training. Intelligence agencies are gathering data. The world is watching the evolution of these giants, and every new development adds fuel to the silent conflict. As long as tensions remain global, the competition will only intensify. Both Russia and Israel want to ensure that if their adversary takes to the sky, they are ready. The Su-57 and F-351 represent more than machines. They represent national pride, strategic necessity, and the future of warfare. And as this rivalry continues, the world edges closer to a new era of air combat where stealth battles stealth, AI battles AI, and information becomes the most lethal weapon ever created. The war for air dominance has begun long before the first missile is fired, and its outcome will shape the skies for decades. Thank you for watching, and if you want more detailed breakdowns, comparisons, and deep analysis of next-generation military technology, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. There is so much more coming your way.